I'm Bill Patton with USATennisCoach, and I'm with Adeline Cook, the author of I Love My Doubles Partner, which is a fantastic book. And I would recommend it for high school tennis coaches because you'll get some really great insight, especially with your girls' teams, as to how you can develop keen insight in developing your doubles teams. So, Adeline, tell us a little bit about the vision behind I Love My Doubles Partner and some examples of the love.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. What happened to me was I started playing tennis at 35 years old as an adult. I'd never done any sports as a child, and I was a 2.5 tennis player, and I couldn't keep the ball in the court. And although frustrated, I stuck with the sport. I fell in love with it. And I went from 2.5 to 3.0 to 3.5 to 4.0 to now, 7 years later, I'm a 4.5. And I played with hundreds of different partners. And what I realized was that I was able to play with different people, and that's why I was able to improve my game so quickly. And the reason for that was I always looked for the strengths in my partner. I always looked for what they were good at. And then what I would do is set them up for their best shot. So if I know somebody's a fantastic overhead hitter, I'm going to lob more in that match, because if I lob, the lady's going to lob back, and then my partner's going to get overhead. So I just noticed that the more I looked for what to love about my doubles partner, the better I played with them. And there were times when I was aggravated with my partner, and they're aggravated with themselves because they're not playing well. And what tends to happen is if you get aggravated with your partner, they play worse. And so this book is more about how to look for the good in your partner, and also how to be a doubles partner to love. Mm-hmm. There are many examples of having presence or being optimistic, and many different sort of self-awareness hints on how to be a better player.
Mm-hmm. So what percentage of players would you guess out there among the women tend to be negative with their partner, and then they're experiencing those negative outcomes because of that?
Well, it's very interesting because I've played with people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Mm. And there is a distinct difference.
Every age group.
Yeah, but the younger ones are more optimistic. Mm. They let things go a little bit faster, and I've noticed that as I was aging as well, I'm 43 now, I was starting to lean towards that, getting a little bit more picky about who I played with, and I reined it in, thank goodness. But definitely also the city you live in, there's different culture. Mm. When I started playing, I lived in Austin, Texas, and Austin is in the South. And so it's very friendly, and people are generous and kind, and a little bit more flexible. I'm living in Los Angeles, California, and it's a very affluent society, and I have noticed a little bit more difficulty in, getting along and having optimistic partners.
Well, it's the land of the double cap, half cap, decaf latte, or whatever it is. I don't know how to say that, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, that was a great analogy.
And that's what people want in their partner. They want her to be 184 degrees and just enough room for cream.
Yes.
So, any other insight that you can give that's one of the blessings that people get from reading your book?
I would say as a coach, you're already teaching about technique, which is something that's obviously you have to be doing. I think you also have to really look at the mental side of tennis, especially for the female players. You really need to teach them mental tenacity. What I mean by that is being able to rein their monkey mind in when it's going crazy, when their opponents are doing something strange, or there's noise going on, or maybe the audience is clapping when they made an unforced error. That's part of training too. That's part of tennis. Winning matches is not just about technique and strategy and what ball you should hit in what way. It's also about teaching your juniors or your adults how to stay focused, how to play to their partner's strengths, how to play to their own strengths, how to pay attention to the opponent's weaknesses. Don't focus on your partner's weaknesses. Focus on your opponent's weaknesses. By the end of the match, you should know if they could hit a slice backhand or a slice forehand or a topspin backhand or topspin forehand. You should know all of their weaknesses. And that's something I would encourage you to have your students learn in the warm-up. In the warm-up, they need to be trying some things out and see if the woman's running around her, if even the junior is running around her backhand, you know that she doesn't have confidence in her backhand. So that's the sort of things you learn from my book. It's more the mental side of the game, learning how to really stay in the game, whatever's going on, which is presence, but also generosity and also gratitude. Being grateful at any age, whether you're a junior, in your 40s, in your 80s, the fact that we get to play tennis is such a blessing, that we have limbs, we have the body for it, we have the ball, the racket, the shoes, the coach, learning to be grateful for your partner. These things are very important for that mental happiness.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot to be said for teaching and learning gratitude at all times. And it's just really one of the most important things to having a successful, happy life.
Yeah, I had a college coach. I asked, how do you choose who you let on your team? And he said it's not as much about technique as you would think. I want someone who has a good attitude, who's flexible, who's going to do the hard work, not be picky and moan all the time. And I was surprised. I think he was Pepperdine coach or something, and I was very surprised by that. But really, especially if you're with juniors and things, attitude is super important, super important. Even maybe get them thinking about volunteering at the inner city children, people younger than that, going and helping, picking balls up, maybe donating things.
Right.
That sort of like gratitude, attitude, givingness, generosity really is part of the game. It's part of the mental game.
Well, I think smart college coaches, like long-term USTA team captains, they're looking at being associated with you for a long period of time, and they don't want it to be a prison sentence.
Right.
I mean, if you have these people that are so, negative and downers and complaining all the time, spending time with them, you'd probably rather be in almost any place else.
Yeah, it's very difficult as a captain as well if you have a player that's difficult, because nobody really wants to play with them. So as the captain, you end up playing with the difficult people all the time. So what I've learned to do is I make a request. It's, they can choose to do it or not, but I make a request to all of my teammates to please be kind to your partner, be kind to your opponents. This is our hobby, because it's USTA.
Right.
This is our hobby. And I've noticed that the women that are more optimistic, everyone wants to play with them, so they get to play more. But in addition to that, they don't seem to get as injured as much. I noticed that the people that are complaining all the time about their partners and about their opponents and all of that, they also seem to have tennis elbow and backache and knee problems and feet problems. So I would say there's a connection there.
Yeah. Issues in their tissues.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you so much for talking about your book. And that's also available on Amazon.
It's available on Amazon, and you can go to I Love My Doubles Partner if you want to buy cute little gifts as well, like this tennis necklace.
Go straight to the website, because that probably helps Adeline.